Hey everybody, this is Tecmo Bowl Tonight, the debut thrown together episode of our podcast for the Tecmo Bowl League, which has 16 professional members at the moment. I am one of them, CJ Wallis, a director of a Tecmo Bowl documentary, and I run the national championships in Omaha in August 8th, and I am here with my co-host and dear friend, Mr. Drewmanster, league commissioner.
Howdy, howdy.
There he is right there. So right now in the league, we are entering into the Dynasty League playoffs, 1989. We have four people on the AFC side and four people on the NFC side. But obviously, we have to assume that nobody knows what the hell is going on with what we're doing here. So, Drew, do you want to tell everybody how the Dynasty League was sort of put together, or what we do that makes it interesting?
Sure thing. So the Dynasty League is a league where we drafted all of the initial players off of the original Tecmo Bowl game, and we're progressing through the seasons as if it were real life. So we started in 1987. Now we're in 1989. Every offseason, players get better. They can get worse depending on their age, and we draft real players as they were. So this last season, we drafted the stars of the 1989 season, including Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, and Troy Aikman. And now we are about to start the playoffs for 1989. I dropped the ROM for that yesterday.
Cool. And so we have the AFC. Let's do the NFC matchups first. So we have DPS versus CBK.
Yep.
DPS is a monster. He's known in the Tecmo Bowl, Super Tecmo Bowl circles, as the dominant force. Always has been, and doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. And about 2 years, actually, the first year that I filmed the documentary was the first year DPS came to Omaha, the national championships, and everyone was very upset that he was coming to ruin everyone's fun. And he's been a force in our league. So he's up against CBK, who is filling in for TNJ Hoove, who had a controller situation. So CBK came in and saved the day for all of us. That's a big matchup. That's a scary one. You want to break it down for the people?
Yeah. So DPS has been, pains me to say, but probably the best player in the league for a while now. It's me and him, anyways. And CBK has some experience, and he's played some seasons, but DPS is a big favorite, and I calculated him to be a 16 and a half point favorite in this game. He's this season he went 15-1 with a single loss coming to a guy who isn't even in the league currently, and CBK filled in for Tenjuve, yeah, and finished with a 4-2 or 4-12 record, excuse me. Um, One versus four seed, obviously, and they played twice.
But CBK
CBK did.
he was close the first game, right? He almost, I mean, I didn't get to see the game, but I saw the score. I mean, it was close. The second one was not.
When CBK had was player one, home field advantage, he lost by 3 points. Second game, DPS beat him 31-0. So,
Yeah.
um,
He likes to
and that's
assert himself for sure.
yeah, yeah. He probably saw that and was like, okay,
Yeah.
gloves coming off. But that's where the odds come from. I computed it using home field advantage, just how strong your season was overall, and also how the matchups broke down. So it spit
Definitely.
out 16 and a half point favorite for DPS, which kind of split the difference between his two margin of victories pretty much.
Right.
And DPS should win. As far as covering the spread, I don't know,
Right,
but he
right.
should definitely win this game.
Yeah, that's one thing about our league is I'm a little bit behind at the moment, but we all keep manual stats. The original Tecmo Bowl doesn't have stats, but we go through the games and record all the plays and have history books. And Drew's got a master sheet of all the strength of schedules and how all the odds of each game break down. It's one of the cooler parts of our league.
Hmm.
Who else? So in the NFC is Nelson and Fat Ginger.
No, it's AMR one.
Oh, AMR1. Right, right. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so what's take it away?
AMR1 filled in for WBI and WV, I guess is how he wants it pronounced. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's filling in for him. He's pretty green. This is his first real season action. He's played some OG, of course, but this is his first real rodeo, and he's a pretty good player. Um, he played DPS pretty close at one point, even almost gave him his second loss.
And
But I have,
he's talking about coming to Omaha too. That's very exciting as a new player that we found off our Facebook group.
yeah, man.
He ingrained himself very quickly, and it looks like he's going to come out. So that's very exciting too.
Yeah, he's a he's a good find.
Yeah, yeah.
um, I do have Nelson as a pretty strong favorite though. Nelson had a 9-7 campaign. That's where I projected him to finish, but I'd say it was still kind of disappointing from his perspective, considering the conference is weak. I'll say it's weak. You know,
Right.
it's not very good. But I do have him as a 9.5 point favorite, and I will say part of that is because it factored in another game. It factored in all of. Hold up, let me look here.
And Nelson came in third place in Omaha last year. Just
Yeah,
he knocked me out in overtime to ruin my trip, and then he ended up losing to Ben, I believe, and then Ben and Cody played for the finals. So yeah, Nelson's always been a definitely a strong player in the league.
yep, he has been.
Was that enough
Um,
time for you to to find what you were looking for?
Man, I found what I was looking for, but it was wrong information. That was
Oh,
my
all right.
problem.
That's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, 9.5 point favorite's pretty strong. In their two games, Nelson won the last one by 4 points, and whenever it was Wade playing, he lost to Wade by 3.
Mm,
So I would say AMR should probably cover this, but I would expect Nelson to win. I think he's kind of underachieved a little bit this season.
mm.
He's got a monster defensive line, really good offensive talent, and I like his playbook pretty good too.
Who's his quarterback and defensive stars for those of us listening that don't know the
Uh,
league?
Bernie Kosar's his quarterback. He's top 4 in the league talent wise quarterback. He's got Thurman Thomas, he's arguably the best running back in the league.
I've
He's
been
at
trying to
least up
trade
there.
yeah, I've been trying to trade him for a year to get him to the Bills, and he won't take Bo Jackson, he won't take Singletary, he won't take Carl Banks, he won't take anybody for Thurman Thomas. I'm desperate to try to get him away from him, but
Oh
so far
yeah,
it's not happening.
yeah. I mean, he should keep on to Thurman for a long time. If you consider age, I think he's probably the best running back in the league.
Definitely.
And then, of course, also considering age, Tim Brown, who has even gotten better since he was first drafted. He's arguably the best receiver in the league.
Right.
And then on defense, he's got Chris Dolman, top defensive end, most important position on defense for my money. Very, very strong player there. And then he's got an elite secondary as well, consisting of Barry Wilburn and Frank Minifield.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yep. He's got a pretty strong team. 9-7 in that conference is, like I said, a disappointment, but let's see if he can make some noise in the playoffs. And he should advance to the conference championship game, in my estimation.
I know you probably can't do the line on the fly, but how do you suspect that'll go?
Well, if you look at their games this season, the first game, DPS won by 16 points. And then he won by 9 points in the follow up. So I think that DPS would probably win again. He's got a good team, and he's a dominant player as well in his own right. So I think he'd definitely beat Nelson.
It's interesting how DPS has always had success in TBL with Jim McMahon. And then I stole Jim McMahon from him in Dynasty, and he was stuck with Danny White, I believe, and had a not his first two seasons he wasn't that happy with for sure. And now he's got Mike Tomzak, and he's back at 15-1. Now he's got another Bear as his quarterback. Has found that interesting.
Yeah, there's probably some voodoo. I mean,
Yeah,
he might have a shrine or something he has to pray at or something.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's been killing it with Tom Zach for sure. All right, so I guess that's as far as we can go with that. So we our next matchup is myself and Ingram 21, who is also has a major part in the documentary as a Tecmo Bowl menace, harassing our dear friend Nate Mers and Tecmo Bowl legend himself. He and I have had a lighthearted, heated rivalry for the last year or so, playing back and forth. And of course, we have to line up in 1989. So I am not fairly confident. I'm confident I will beat him. He has a strategy and a style of play that is sneaking the quarterback a lot. So after a while, you start to anticipate that, and as soon as you jump forward, he throws it 30 yards over your head to the top receiver, and then your blood is boiling. That's my approach to the game is try to limit that. But I can't say much more other than that. So I'll throw it to you to unbiasedly break my heart with anything you might have to say bad about the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, that was very well put. This is the closest matchup of the playoffs on paper. I've got Jerry as a 1.5 point favorite with a over and under of 31.5, which is a lot of points. So I'm expecting a close shootout in this one. And you're right about the quarterback sneaking. John Elway is the biggest weapon probably in the league offensively because if you don't stop the run, stop him from running. He'll get 9 yards apiece at least. But if you come up, he'll just rifle it over the top. Um, this is a very, very, like I already said, good matchup here. Jerry has an 8 game win streak, while you are 6-2 since the midway deadline, and that's when you changed your playbook. Which more on that in a minute. But
Yep.
I'm not really sure who I expect to win this one.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
it's a close one for damn sure. I think it can really go either way, but
I feel like I
leaning.
pass way better, but again, like that style of play is almost impossible to stop, and that's not a
Hmm.
cope. It's just like if you play this game, the Brad and Nate and when they originally played, they sort of pioneered this league, and that's in the movie a little while ago. And they had a rule that you could only QB sneak once a quarter, just to force people into having to find open receivers and
Hmm.
cycle. And we've sort of entertained that, but at the end of the day, there's just that's there's a lot of times where you're leaving a lot of yards on the table by doing a 5 yard sneak by not throwing it. So it's sort of like cheese, which we'll get into another time, but these auto catches that work that you can do every single time, no matter your ability or anything like that. A lot of people can exploit that for 9 yards over and over again, but them doing that, a lot of times it excludes them from way bigger gains or other exploits that are open just sort of trying to get by. And yeah, we keep we've at this point we're keeping the sneaks in. It's part of the
Hmm.
game, but like I said, it's a near impossible thing to stop. You basically have to rely on play picks. But anyway,
That's right. Especially with his playbook with 3 pass plays. If you don't get play picks, he's gonna score a bunch on you. It's inevitable. He did it to
yeah,
me, and
and you
that's why it's another thing that makes this matchup hard. Is like how well can you pick his play? That's the
right.
most cerebral part, the least easy to predict part of this game.
Definitely. And for my last 3 seasons, I've had pretty decent defense, and any games where I've let in 10 points or more are the ones that I lose. Anytime that I have single digits against, I win, which is kind of obvious. But I mean, in
Yeah.
Tecmo Bowl, that's so you having the line as 31, that means like I need to make it sure that it's 21 to 10 or I'm going to be in trouble.
Before we talk about the next matchup, I do want to ask, how do you like your playbook change? You got a different coach, right, at the midway?
Yeah, as everyone knows, I'm a big Jack Trudeau apologist. He's definitely they definitely gave him the worst arm and speed and wide receivers to throw to. When I learned the game, I took Indianapolis because I always thought that if I played with the worst team and got good with passing and doing that, then I could, once I had Montana or somebody else, that it would feel like a cheat code. So I just very early on got used to this weird playbook that some people don't like. And in the off season, as Drew said, or in the midway, I changed coaches so that I could get the Indianapolis playbook one or pass one, which has this little tight end play that just drops to the bottom. And up top, I have Bo Jackson, and my two wide receivers are streaking deep. So all day you either pick the top or the bottom. With two of my fastest guys, I have Pharrell Edmonds on tight end, and Bo Jackson up top. So that's bad. That's tough enough to stop as it is.
Hmm.
And then my pass play is the Miami shotgun, which has Don Beebe from the top drop down to the about 5 yards and stop, and Bo Jackson does the same thing on the bottom, and Pharrell and whoever my
Uh,
second wide receiver is, they all go deep. So both of those plays I have guaranteed pass plays to that are devastating, especially when you have Bo Jackson there. And then I have the Indianapolis runs with Dickerson that are fantastic, but with Bo Jackson in there. I feel like my defense has gotten a lot better, and now with having my favorite playbook and the worst play, and it's not the worst play, but the worst play of the Indy playbook in my mind, replaced with this sort of unstoppable Miami shotgun play, I'm extremely confident in scoring and getting the ball down the field, but it's just a matter of, like I said, being able to stop Jerry's RPO offense or whatever the hell you call it.
yeah. And that right there is why it's an over and under of 31.5 points.
Yeah, it's going to
It
get
should be a
ugly.
shootout.
Yep. All right. So, for the sake of how we just discussed DPS and Nelson, you have to pick a winner so that we can discuss the championship game. And it's fine if you say Jerry.
I think you'll win. You've got a better defense with Carl Banks and
Kugler.
uh, well, I guess. And your offense is different, but I think it's got a higher ceiling to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not as reliant on not being play pick. Basically, you can get first downs with Bo Jackson on the runs, easier than with Jerry's offense. I won't get too much into the nitty gritty details, but I think that's the truth right there
Yeah.
because you got to run in both directions. So big playability is a little bit easier to come by.
Mhm.
So I think you'll win.
All right. There you have it, folks. All right. So now here we go. The main attraction, Commissioner Drewmanster, first seed in the AFC, taking on Return of the Mac, another player that utilizes the sneak approach to the game, and he is definitely always a tough out, but you always find a way. So analyze yourself.
I've got myself as a 2.5 point favorite, which I think is pretty fair. In our games, my games against him, I played him twice, of course. I beat him by 1 point twice, and that's because Fred Young can block extra points, and he doesn't have an extra point blocker. Um, so just mathematically speaking, we're basically a coin flip apart. The big thing with my team, the big narrative is I've kind of faltered down the stretch. I started off 11-0, 2-3 in my final games to finish 13-3. Still a strong season, but I'm kind of trending downwards. But I've got a favorable playbook matchup here that can I won't get like super hard into it, but I one of my middle linebackers can come free on runs pretty often, and he's a good player. He's served me well against Mac before, and he can do it again. I think I'll beat him again. I hope I will, but he is a very strong opponent, like you said. Quarterback sneaking. He's got a fast quarterback. Mark Rippon is basically Elway light, but his playbook doesn't lend itself to deep routes as much. So I think I can keep him contained. But again, we'll see.
All right, so then that leaves you versus those Buffalo Bills. Again, I know you probably don't know the line off top. I know that I got you the last time we played, but I think you beat me the first time. You can
Mm-hmm.
confirm or deny.
Yep.
Can you figure out the line based on our games? I think they were all close, right? Like within 3 points each.
Yeah, I won the first game by 3 points, and then you won the second game by six.
Okay.
And that was the most helpless I felt in the game. I kind of blew it against Jerry, and I blew it against DPS, but I you kicked my ass that game.
Hmm.
Um, However, the big thing there is I played you on the road twice this
Yeah.
season because I can't make schedules, and I had to do it basically to give you 8 home games like you
Yeah.
should. So I took the brunt of that. So I played you on the road twice, and this will be my first home game against you if I get there because I'm the higher seed.
Yep.
So that does count for something. Um, I would say I would probably be favored, but I don't know, man. I'm not too confident in playing against you. I think that would be a very, very good game. I think it could go either way.
Yeah. Then one of us has to face DPS and Tom Zach.
Hmm.
But I think DPS is gettable. How about that? How about I say that on the podcast for controversy? I think the
I don't
AFC,
think it's controversial.
I think the AFC's taking it this year.
Yeah, we have, for one thing, we've got the home field advantage. You know, the first year, 1987, I flipped the coin to see who would get home field.
Hmm.
It fell on the American Tecmo Football Conference. That's us,
Yep.
and it's alternating ever since then. So we're back to home field, and
Right.
I do think DPS is a little bit of a schedule merchant. He's got twice. He's got okay. Let me phrase this. He's got the worst strength of schedule ever by
Oh,
double.
whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa. I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's twice as worse as the worst strength of schedule we've seen before, which is 1987 Cody,
Yep.
who went undefeated.
Yep.
Um, so I think he's definitely gettable, like you said. I think either of us could beat him. Now it would be a good game, and we might not beat him, but it's certainly doable. He's not an unstoppable juggernaut. I think
Yeah.
we can do it.
I don't remember who knocked him out of Omaha this year. I'll have to think about that. I don't remember who did that. Okay. Why am I antagonizing this man for no reason? All right. So that's that. That's the Dynasty 1989 matchup. Breakdown from Commissioner Drewmanster and myself. We will be back shortly with round two, and we aspire to. There's a certain amount of NFL players that we have access to. So we're hoping to have some greats from the game on here, and obviously some of our league members, and break down the game for people that are either remember playing it growing up or still want to play it. And if you want to still play it, the National Championships is in August in Omaha, Nebraska, and you can sign up at TecmoBowlLeague.com, and you can also sign up to the league at TecmoBowlLeague.com. We'd be happy to see you. We found AMR and we found a couple other people, but when they showed up, we were in between seasons. And actually, I think Thunderdome, one of the biggest Tecmo Bowl online tournaments, Super Tecmo Bowl tournaments, was going on at the same time. So it was like the worst time for new people to show up. But we're always looking for new blood. AMR has been a wonderful addition. He's in there every day asking for games, and that's all you can ask for is someone eager to play a game from 40 years ago because it's brilliant and one of the best things ever made. And that's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
Yep. There we go. So we'll see you next episode. Thanks for listening. Sound effect. There'll be a sound effect there.
Yeah.
Yep. All
Cool,
right.
man.